sneaker boy, all about them sneakers, boy. Got all types you like, from Nike to Adidas, boy. Sneaker boy.
What is good, everybody? Welcome to StayCoppinKicks. My name is that dude Curtis, and you could have been anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. If you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. And with that said, let's get into today's video. 2024 was an amazing year for sneakers. It went by super fast, but overall, this is one of the best years on record to be a fan of sneakers in general. The amount of offerings from all the different brands that covered every different style you can imagine, to all this type of heat that has been released that was easy to pick up. If you were a fan of sneakers, it was an amazing time. So at the end of the year, I like to reflect on the sneakers I did pick up, because a lot of times we focus so much on what's the next thing as well as what L's we took. We don't take the time to appreciate the wins we did receive, as well as the grails or retros that we always wanted that we finally were able to get. So here's my top 10 pickups for 2024. This holiday season, nothing would make me happier than if you gave the children in your life the gift of reading through one of my stories. The Perfect Pair and Why So Blue are both books that provide children important lessons about friendship, empathy, and standing up for what you believe in and those that are important to you. The Perfect Pair and Why So Blue are both available now everywhere books are sold, and I really hope you'll check them out. The Air Jordan 11 Bread Velvet. Since before my daughter was born, I used to try to make it a point to pick up a pair of 11s for her at Christmas. Until recently, that was very easy to do. But with the resellers and hypebeast market, it became impossible to get 11s pretty much in any size, especially kid sizes. So with a lot of that bubble having bursted, this was the first year that I was able to get her some 11s again. So I'm glad to have these in the collection so she and I can do some daddy-daughter day matching in our breads. The Developer Boring Air Jordan 1 Chicago. The Air Jordan 1 Chicago is obviously a legendary colorway. And with no retro scheduled for anytime soon, I thought I'd give the DB custom version a shot. And let me tell you, I was extremely impressed. The quality of the shoe is amazing. The design, the cut, it looks like the high 85 cut. It's an overall fantastic shoe. The only thing I didn't really like was the way you have to go about purchasing the shoe. That may have been an issue with my bank, more so than Developer Boring. But other than that, loved it overall. The Adidas TMNT Shell Toe. This might be the best collab of the year. It's obviously one of my favorites. If you watched my video I made of it earlier this year. As a fan of the OG Ninja Turtles from the comics with the all red mask, this shoe spoke to me. I love the tumbled leather used to look like the turtle skin, as well as the detail of actually changing out the shell on the toe to be a turtle shell. Adidas was in their bag when they came out with this one, from the packaging to the design. For non-comic fans, I know the only issue with it was that it was comic-based, so they only came with red, and it didn't have an option for alternate mask colors. The Air Jordan 9 UNC. While not the first OG pair that I was unable to have as a kid, this was the first time I saw a pair that I became jealous of the other kids for having. Up until the release of the Jordan 8, I pretty much got every new Jordan release that came out because my dad worked for a shoe company. However, around the time the 8 came out, he stopped working for the company, and thus I didn't receive any more Jordans unless I paid for them myself, which wouldn't be until college and afterwards. Not being a big fan of the 8 when it originally dropped, that shoe never really did anything for me. However, when the 9 came out, specifically in this colorway, it was the first time I saw it on other kids' feet, and I felt jealousy, and I was like, I need those shoes. Never got them. This is actually my first pair of 9s, but I'm glad to have this be the colorway in my collection. The Air Jordan 1 Metallic Gold. The Metallic series was always a favorite of mine when I remember seeing it in the magazines for the Air Jordan 1. So when I found out they were bringing back a lot of different colors, I was super excited. The gold, while not being an OG color, it was definitely a color that would fit right in. And the gum bottom, chef's kiss. So this made this a must-have for me this year. The Air Jordan 1 Low Howard. As I've grown up and become wiser, I've learned more about how important Howard University was to forming some of the greatest minds in Black literature and Black culture. Because of that, I wanted to make sure that when this pair was announced, I picked it up. I didn't think I was going to be a fan of the Jordan 1 Low. However, this has turned into a shoe that I might gradually turn into a beater. I've noticed myself gravitating to this and easily sliding it on when I have to do quick errands and little tasks. The Jordan 1 High 85 white and metallic burgundy. Now this shoe was definitely top of mind this year. It got pushed back, but the fact that people were sleeping on it and I was able to get it for the low, amazing. The leather on this shoe is fantastic. The look, the design, again, I'm a big fan of the metallic colors, and this shoe is just clean. So I can't wait to be able to undead stock it. So I can't wait to have the opportunity to undead stock it in 2025. The Air Jordan 4, military blue or industrial blue. This was definitely a shoe that I was looking forward to all year. In general, when it comes to Jordans, while I love OG colorways and I love the traditional black, red, and white colorways, I'm a sucker for a blue colorway. Not just because it matches my branding. So when these were coming out, I had to get them. The shaping is great, the tooling is great, the material, the color, everything. The Air Max 1 Big Bubble Royal. When they dropped the Big Bubble in the original white and red colorway, it was a must-have, but not a must-have for me, as I already had a couple pairs of white and red Air Max 1s. However, the Royal colorway, with blue being a key color in my theming, I had to have it. And this is a shoe that I've actually turned into a beater. We went to Legoland this year and I walked this shoe all around the park. Never had any issues. So when people talk about Nikes not being comfortable or not being able to do things with, that's all cap. You just have to have the right pair. And the Air Max 1 Big Bubble is definitely a right pair for that. The J-Tips Saucony Omni 9. While I'm not a big fan of all of J-Tips' models, I am a big fan of this shoe that he came out with. This is probably my favorite colorway of all the models he's done, and it was definitely one of the best collabs of the year. As you can see, I don't have a pair in my hand because my pair hasn't come in yet. I had some issues with my original order getting canceled on release, so I had to wait a little while before it was able to be fulfilled, but I have them coming now, and I'm really excited to have them. The Adidas AE1. When I first saw the AE1, it reminded me of essentially a modern version of the Foamposite. So I was already hooked on it just from that. But I never expected the shoe to, number one, be as comfortable as it was and take over sneaker culture the way it did this year. I'm really glad that it won Sneaker of the Year. Well-deserved, fantastic model from Adidas, and I can't wait to see what they do next for Anthony Edwards. The Air Jordan 11 Columbia or Legend Blue. This right here was definitely a grail shoe for me. I've wanted this shoe since 7th grade when I saw my homeboy Brian wearing them in gym class. It was the freshest thing ever. He had the matching Carolina shorts to go with it and was just killing it on the basketball court that day. You couldn't tell him nothing. I have the 2014 pair, but the 2014 pair, outside of having that great Christmas Day box that they used to do for the Jordan 11s, the pair was lacking in a lot of ways. But this right here is an amazing pair. I'm so glad to have it, and I can't wait to undead stock it. So there you have it, friends. That is my list of my top 10 pickups for 2024. I'm excited to see what 2025 brings. We already have a lot of good releases on the schedule. I don't know how many of them I'm going to pick up or even try to pick up, but there's a lot of good stuff coming out. And again, there's no better time to be a sneakerhead. So please sound off in the comments below with what your favorite pickups of the year was, as well as what you really like from my list. And with that said, stay copping kicks.
Sneaker boy, all about them sneakers, boy. Got all types you like, from Nike to Adidas, boy. Sneaker boy, all about them sneakers, boy. I keep it.